Thank you so much. I'm Navbahor Imamova from the Voice of America. Mr. Ambassador, what is the Uzbek government's strategy to work with young Muslims, both men and women? As you know, they are the majority in the country. I just got back from Uzbekistan from a month-long trip, and where many young Uzbeks have expressed concerns about the parameters of being religious in Uzbekistan. They still are struggling to be able to see the red lines. They ask many questions about who's a good Muslim in Uzbekistan and who's a bad Muslim. I'm sure you're watching the situation, and a young imam, 32-year-old Imam Fazluddin Parpiyev, just left the country, claiming that he was constantly targeted for directly calling on president to improve the situation regarding religious freedom. There are many young people who want to promote scarves and beards, and there is a very heated conversation that's going on in the country. How much of it are you watching, and how do you see the best way to work with these young crowds who want to be religious, who want to express their religious views freely? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So Navbahor, all I know now, what you already know about that gentleman you mentioned. So as far as I know, there were any allegations against him, and anyone, as you may know, Navbahor can travel in and out Uzbekistan freely without any restrictions. So, and this gentleman is a free man who decided to leave the country, again without any restrictions. So, but here I would like to draw your attention that any public figure, especially imams, should feel responsibility for what they are calling the people for. As it was mentioned today several times, we are the secular state. And we remember the times when some imams called even for polygamy. I know that many are dreaming about it, but although for others it might be a disaster. So, but we should not forget that Uzbekistan still remains secular state. So some other imams, as you are well aware, were demanding even on legislative level to introduce the ban, the ban to attendance of male doctors in medical care during the childbirth. So you can imagine where this may lead. So, and Mr. Parpiyev, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, was calling to lift the ban on women's Islamic scarves, and that you mentioned men's beard. So in Uzbekistan, these remarks addressed mostly to Americans who are not well familiar with my country. Bearing beards and scarves are not prohibited by law. So not legally banned, and the only restriction, and it is common for many most developed countries, that they are not allowed to bear them in public places. So at the same time, we need to preserve the right for introducing a dress code and uniforms in public organizations. So this is my key point with regard to that gentleman's issue. About red lines you mentioned. I left the country one year ago, and you've just returned. I believe you have the latest updates, but in my own perspective, the people of Uzbekistan feels the wind of freedom nowadays. As it was mentioned, you see, within the last 2 years, we've released more than 20,000 Uzbeks who were jailed in the past, who were charged with religious extremism and terrorism. Moreover, the president, using these authorities envisaged by the Constitution, for the first time, pardoned more than 3,000 people. And by the way, the vast majority of them, again, people who were charged with religious extremism and terrorism in the past. So, moreover, the government is creating conditions for those people who lost their jobs in the past. And now, even those who just a few months ago were jailed, now they are working for Uzbek TV. They are becoming public persons, and all gates are open for them. So this is my own perception as the person who represents the government of Uzbekistan. But would appreciate if you later share with me with your own perception that you've received during your trip to Uzbekistan. Later we'll be able to discuss it and exchange our views.